facts. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
And here we are. Hopefully everything is working. I have no idea to tell if some things are working right now. So I'm going to check my settings and stuff. It's the first time I've done it this way. First of all, I've grabbed the wrong microphone. So there we go. That's what was going on. MD audio device. That would work better than, let's go with Realtek audio. There we go. All right. That is all set up. Make sure that the webcam is correct. It is. We're ready to go. Hope you can hear me. I'm actually watching this on a regular screen. I am hooked up to two computers now, so I have to switch back and forth. All I'm doing on this computer is the Wednesday 2:00 meeting and my podcast. It's all that's going to be done on this computer. The other one can do all the art stuff and things like that. So while I was doing that, my fan fell down, my number one fan. So let's get it going because I'm feeling a little warm. Today we're talking about love back to health. Hopefully there's people showing up here shortly. It's Saturday. Sober Saturday. That's how I should have started. But the thing is it wasn't coming through the speakers, so I didn't know where I was at. I didn't even know if you could hear them. So I'm not big on this screen that I got. I had to switch to a television, and it doesn't have the same picture. So I'm gonna have to maybe take a look at. Some things just don't fit together. So, but I have a little switcher that I can switch back and forth to computers. So, but like if I'm doing this and I switch, what it's going to do is it'll take the microphone away. So I can't do it while I'm live, but I shouldn't need to. Shouldn't need to. Anything that we need to talk about today, just when things feel like they're going good, life's probably going to switch up on you a little bit. Keep that in mind that not every day is going to be hunky dory, but if we can have a good attitude, we can at least make it something. We can get something out of the day. This morning I got up, and of course, thing I was angry at, because I'm always angry when I get up in the morning. Well, I was a little pissed because some cat, in fact, there he is. Come here. He's still running away from me. I don't blame him. Yeah, big trouble last night. Waking me up, breaking into the closet, stealing kitty treats, on an adventure. Yeah, but that covers up. Gotta get my back on right. There we go. There we go. Now you can still see that I have that way you can see I have a decent speaker, and you can still see. Come here. You're not in trouble anymore, dude. You're not smart enough to remember that one. Come here. I want everybody to see your guilty face. It was me, Dad. All right. Well, you can go have a good day. All right. Yes, that's how I act with my cats. All right. I saw an oops. All right. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. rewatch. What I may do next is just check my internet, put a little thing up. It should tell me how my internet's doing while things are going on. Today we're talking about being loved back to health, but I mean I skipped a whole section here, but that's because I'm still trying to figure things out, right? And that's all right. Yeah, that's all right. And there's Sawyer. Sawyer always wants love. You know what time it is? Time for Dion's Daily Funnies. God, did I do something wrong? And it's just weird that nobody's here. That's just really weird. All right. Oh well. Just making but I'm not getting any messages like I can't see you. Or right. All right, reader favorite dad jokes is what we're gonna go for today. I once submitted 10 puns to a joke competition. I really thought that many was sure to be a winner. Suddenly, no pun intended. No pun intended. That's just stupid. That's what makes it a dad joke. Why did the old man fall down the well? He couldn't see that well. He saw lots of other wells, but he didn't see that one. All right. I tried to make a joke about ghosts, but I couldn't. It had plenty of spirit, but no body. I just didn't get that one, but I also wasn't paying attention. Oh, Dad, what's the difference between a piano, a tuna, and a pot of glue? Me, I don't know. Dad, you can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna. What about the pot of glue? I knew you'd get stuck on that. Yeah, that's just womp womp womp. Today at the bank, an old lady asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. There we go. Now we're talking. A little bit of violence. A little bit of violence in our jokes. Um, if things look different, if they're not right, please let me know. Like if the picture doesn't look right, if the sound is off, please let me know. Um, trying to get it all figured out. Um, today I'm thinking about going and buying some paint, but my background's starting to fill up a little bit. But I'm actually going to paint it blue. I'm going to take the 12 traditions and 12 steps down. I'm going to go get a couple of shelves for those sides and put stuff up that I like. Personal stuff. I'm really into dragons. There are no dragons in this picture. Dragons and Spider-Man. And, and Batman and Star Wars and Star Trek. It used to be if I read a book, it had to have a map in it. These were the requirements. It had a map in it, or and it also had to have dwarves or elves or something fantasy in it. That was always my preference. Um, read Lord of the Rings when I was 18 years old. So Bilbo and Frodo Baggins have the same birthday as my daughter, September 22nd. They are Virgo. So speaking of my wizard friend, where are you? I've already heard from her this morning, so I know she's okay. But good morning, Heather. It's good to see you. She's listening from work, multitasking. A lot of people do that with me, and nothing wrong with that. Today, we're talking about love back to health. That is the topic. Sometimes faith doesn't roar, it just whispers, keep going. All right. All right. So, um, you know, it's not every day I'm full of, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to call it faith. See, I'm getting I'm not going to change the way that I talk. I'm not. It's just somebody called me religious last week, and when I talk now, I'm like, does that make it sound? No, no. Now I'm second guessing myself, and I'm not going to go for that. So I'm just going to talk how I normally talk. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Whoa. I don't care what you say. Yeah. Uh, 'Cause every day, yeah, you gotta finish it. I'm doing fine by myself. 'Cause I know. All right, a little drumming in there. All right. You know, when I first came back to the program when I was 45, if you don't know, I got sober the first time when I was 18 years old and accumulated 12 years sobriety, and I went out for 15. And when I came back, man, it was, man. See, the first time I got sober, it was easy. I tell you, it was easy. There was no hangover, there were no DTs, there was no sweating, there was a nothing. I haven't been drinking long enough to accumulate those things. Those were yets for me. I had never lost a house or a wife or a car because I never had one. But I lost something that every single one of us lose. Me. Me. I lost me. Yeah. See, I put my soul up for bargain. Bargain bottom prices. My soul going once, going twice. Trying to sell it to the highest bidder for as much as I could so I could get as much out of this world as I could. Now, when I got sober at 45, it'd be much different. It took me 2 years to get off the hooch. Things were slightly different. I was the color of my walls, which are yellow. I was jaundiced, 6 months to live. Now I'd lost two wives, kids, jobs, houses, cars, all of it. I tell you, I don't know what it was. I didn't care. I mean, I did, but there was no way I was going to ever be sober enough at that time to confront it. And by this time, I didn't like Dion anymore. At 40, my wife and I met up again. She was my girlfriend when we got sober the first time, and so she knew a lot about me. Um, when I met Shannon, she says we were 18, so I was 18, so I'm going with that. I always thought it was 17 for some reason, but her memory's better than mine on that. She was 16 and she started working at a place called Skippers. I was the assistant manager there. Well, I was the interim assistant manager. I was an assistant manager for very long. I think it was for about a month, but during that time, I was the assistant manager. I asked her to go out with me, and I asked her if she'd go on a date with me, and she told me no. Shit. Dion doesn't like the answer no. Usually I've been like, okay. But for some reason, I knew that this person was supposed to be in my life. I didn't know why. I'll find out a lot later, right? See, when I was 37, I decided that it was time to move out to California, and I was just going to drink myself to death. That was the plan. You can tell it didn't quite work out, did it? No. This is how much I thought of myself. This is how highly I thought of myself. I figured death was probably the best and easiest option. What I thought. And one day I got a friend request on Facebook, and we got back together, and now we've been together 15 years. Uh, 55 now. I got together where I moved back out here. But then my kids really got to see my destructive drinking. Now there were people directly involved that if I did something in the house, it affected everybody in the house because these were my kids, my family. At least in California, it wasn't having that big of an effect. The effect was, well, my dad's just an absentee dad and doesn't like me. And I felt like this was worse. Maybe it was for the better. I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you that my family is together. We are healed. Yeah, I can tell you that. Right. So after a couple of years of trying to get sober in and out of detox 22 times, and I'm not shit, man. I'm not making these numbers up. I think sometimes people don't believe me. Okay. See, the thing is, I knew that the alcoholic needed to be extricated from the family for a little bit, and there was no way I was going to treatment. So I kept putting myself in detox because I figure, I'm like, there's people there that can help. There, and it turns out there was nobody there to help, which is why I do what I do now. It's why I advocate because detox is the landing place for, it's the starting point for 80% of the recovery out there. Right. I found out there wasn't that it was a bunch of non-alcoholics working there, and they couldn't help me. They kept handing me pieces of paper saying, "Here, make some phone calls." But not one person would sit down with me and say, "Hey, Dion, I understand what you're going through." And I wasn't going to go to treatment, and I'll tell you why. My ego was too big. I tried going to treatment. I talked circles around them because see, I was an alcoholic with experience, but I was also educated in the field. So I really didn't want to hear it from these people. Now AA was different. I was willing to listen there because these people understood where I was coming from. I was tired of describing my loneliness to people. I was tired of it. It separated me even more. So when I got here, why am I telling you that story? To let you know that when I got here, I did not love Dion. The only love that I had left in my heart was for my wife and my children. It is the only love I had left. And even then, I have to admit that maybe it wasn't that much, but it was enough. Yeah, I also knew a couple other things. I knew that I could get sober for any reason. I knew that. And thank God I knew this information. Otherwise, I'd be dead. Okay. Because there was another thing that happened. I kept going to AA for 2 years and it had changed. And I didn't hear it because there was swishing and buzzing in my ears. I could hardly hear. But they kept saying, is anybody here willing to sponsor? When we used to ask, who here needs a sponsor? And that's what I thought they were asking. For 2 years, I kept raising my hand. And for 2 years, people knew I needed a sponsor, but I don't know why nobody approached me. It was 2 years before somebody approached me and said, Dion, I am your sponsor. You need to find God. And it's exactly why I do things the way that I do them. It is why I started the grassroots as, in there we ask point blank, who here needs a sponsor? We don't like people leaving there without a sponsor or at least some phone numbers, you know? Um, so it's why I partly do what I do. I do a lot of advocating and my advocating tends to piss people off, but I don't care, man. That's not my problem. Then go talk to your sponsor. Oh, you don't have a sponsor. So I'm not at this point, I'm not even going to debate with you because we're not going to be talking about the same thing. Right. So I got sober for my wife and kids. Right. And my wife would always tell me, Shan would always say, hey, I know the sober Dion. And I know what the sober Dion does. So I'm going to just keep loving you until that guy comes back. That's what she would say to me. It worked. It worked. And it wasn't just her. Mm, I don't know that my kids really cared. They were at that age where, I don't care about nothing. It's just an age we all go through. My mom, my sister, they were a part of it. Absolutely. So what I had to do is I had to come back into the program and I had to let all of you love me until I could love myself enough to do the program. Well, okay. Now I sit there and think back that I know what was going on. People were trying to determine my willingness. And that makes me sad. That makes me feel like not that I'm not a part of AA, honestly. That's how that makes me feel. I mean, I showed up. I kept showing up. I kept trying and trying and trying. Maybe that's why somebody finally broke down and said, I'll be your sponsor. I'm like, finally, somebody did it the right way. Gee, I've been over here waiting 2 years for somebody to sponsor me because after that long, I just kind of figured maybe I wasn't fucking worth it. Willingness. Okay. Stop to trying to determine the newcomer's willingness. They showed up to the meeting and raised their hand. That should be enough. That should be all it takes for you to be willing to get off your fucking ass, go over there and help instead of resting on your laurels, wondering when somebody is going to ask you to sponsor them. And don't do that crap around me. All right. So there is a reading to this. Okay. It's a day at a time. I'm Hazel in Literature, October 25th. My addictions were like thieves in more ways than I can count. They robbed me not only of money, property, and other material things, but of dignity and respect. Now, I'm going to tell you something, okay? Because where's the first thing they went? Oh, it robbed me of money, property. Is that really what it is? What about your soul? How about the fact that you went to a crossroads and you sold your soul to John Barleycorn for a good time? Yes, you did. You made that decision. There's more at stake here than your car and your house. Okay? Some things are forever. The soul is forever. Okay? You could be you could have all the material wealth in the world and still be a very lonely person because you are an alcoholic. Material things have nothing to do with this. No. Right? And they listed it here first. That tells me that this is an alcoholic. How can I tell? Because they have the cart before the horse. I understand what they're saying, and that's probably how I would write it too. Why? Because I'm an alcoholic who has the cart before the horse. It's just it's an inbred skill, not necessarily a good skill, right? But once we recognize it, then we can do something about it, right? While my family and my friends suffered right along with me. Oh, I drink alone and that's not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting anybody but myself. I'm not hurting any, even though everybody's coming up and telling you how much you're hurting them. We still don't be able to see it. It isn't until that innocent child comes up, your grandchild or your own kid at the age of 2 and is like, "I wish you would stop doing that." That one's going to hit the hardest. That one's going to hurt the most because they're innocent and you know better. It's a hard one. It's a conundrum. It's a hell of a place to be, right? My addictions also rob me of the ability to treat myself properly as God would treat me. Yeah. Right. And when we are loved back to health, where is that? Well, it's going to be in the rooms. And that's why it's important that you find your homeroom, find the place that you belong. You'll know it. You'll know it. Your gut will tell you. It'll get a little excited. It'll be happy to be there. You'll feel like a little kid because you are. This is the inner child at work. Okay. Your inner child is the healer. It's innocent. Remember that. Your inner child is still innocent, which means what? It means that we're naive to certain things. And it's okay to be naive, not to everything. Just don't let naive blind you. Naive means I have more to learn. And that's all it should ever mean. And sometimes I wish I was still naive about a lot of things. I'd probably be a lot happier if I didn't know. Hi, Amber. It's good to see you. Good morning. All right. So it wasn't just that, but the ability to treat myself properly as God would treat me. And since I'm treating me horribly, everybody else around me treats me horribly. Right? Yeah. Today, in total contrast, I'm capable of true love of self to the extent that I'm able to provide myself with more love than I ever need. I can go for that. I don't feel like the love that I get is necessarily internal, and an overflow of love that uh yeah, I don't see what would be wrong with it. There's something that's itching at the back of my mind that so I'm not sure what it is. Okay. I think if we move that into self-esteem, that'd make more sense for me. That's what it is. Okay. So I give that love away to other people in the program. You know what? And that's exactly what I do all day long. My cup floweth over. So instead of letting it spill all over the ground and having to mop it up all the time, I give it away. I give it to other people, or at least I try. Right? Not everybody wants my love. That's okay too. Right? Am I great at it? No. Sometimes my love even comes across as anger because I care, but I'll chew your ass. I do mean good. You know, that's mostly with people that are really close to me, like my wife. I mean, I love her so much. I will yell at her, right? But I can't do it that way. But I don't know how to always explain it and why I'm feeling that way. So these things are new to me, right? So, so I give love away to other people in the program. I don't just do it to other people in the program. Anybody that is needing it. Maybe maybe I have a friend that's usually doing well, but today they're not, they feel like they need a little bit more love. Be it I know how it goes. Sometimes they're like a couple weeks ago, I was feeling really unappreciated. Um and I don't know that was necessarily an all around thing. It's just I had gotten a lot of stuff done and I was feeling unappreciated. But in the last couple of weeks, and I was down about it for about a day. Last couple of weeks, a lot of people have been telling me how they feel about me. So God listened. Now, what I didn't do was I didn't determine my own worth at that point. It was, I'm going through this. Okay, let's go do something esteemable. And then God gave me the answer a little bit later when I had made a decision that that wasn't something I needed to worry about right now. See, he already had it covered. He just needed me to wait a little bit longer. Right? I needed some delayed gratification. You know, So I thank God for bringing me to the program in which sick people are loved back to health. Right? We're not bad people try. We're not bad people trying to be good. We're sick people trying to get well. Right? But actually, and in a sense too, we are bad people trying to be good. I don't really like saying that, but if I look back, yeah, I did some pretty horrible shit, man. I would have been considered a bad person. Well, I wouldn't be. I was considered that. I mean, I wasn't in jail because I was doing the right thing, you know. So actually, in a sense, yeah. Okay. Now I understand that there's bad in me, right? And since I understand that, it means what does it mean? Now I know it's okay to be that. There's a little bit of bad in the good of us and a little bit of good in the worst of us, right? Um, I don't even know that I necessarily totally agree with that either. I know how dangerous I am, especially when I drink on the buckets. Okay. And I don't need alcohol in order to be a bad person either. I don't need it. Right. So you have to understand how dangerous you are. And then you pull that back and you pull it back. What is that? It's love. It's love. Yeah. Because for me, sometimes violence is still the answer. I don't know why. I do not act on that. I didn't really act on it before either. I've never really been really big on physical and violence, but I'd be happy to make a phone call to get it done. Yeah, I was that guy. I had a lot of big friends that were happy to do anything for me. All right, today I pray thanks be to God for a way of life which generates such love and caring that we in the program can't help but learn to love ourselves. When I see that someone cares about me, I am more apt to be convinced that perhaps I am, after all, worth caring about. May I be conscious always of the love I am now able to give and give it. Now remember, someone caring about me makes me feel worth caring about. Okay. I'm not big on this last line because it sounds like low self esteem to me. Someone caring about me makes me worth caring about. Well, it's got to be kind of an inside job, but I get it. In the beginning, we need other people. And that's exactly how I did it. Okay. But I did it because I had low self esteem. I didn't think very much of myself. All right. So you got to get to a place where that kind of begins with you. Okay. That you don't need other people to do that for you. You can start doing it yourself, right? So, all right, there's some things in here. You know, oh, that's because that's why I'm like, I'm not even looking at the right one. I'm like, this makes no sense, Chat GPT. Alcohol doesn't come for your body first, it comes for your spirit. It takes away peace, trust, laughter, truth, connection, self worth, family, sanity, and finally your soul. By the end, I wasn't just losing days, I was losing myself. I was caught in a mire that I couldn't seem to get out of. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the worst hell I have found, a head full of AA and a belly full of booze. It's like an out of body experience because you're doing shit that you know that you should not be doing, but you can't help yourself. You can't stop yourself. I couldn't stop myself. I was losing me. Right now, there was a moment of what? Grace. And what is grace? It is a free gift. But this grace wasn't necessarily coming from God as much as it was coming from the people in AA. Love breaks through where willpower never could. And I didn't get better because I got stronger. I got better because someone cared enough to not give up on me. It only takes one person in your life that loves you enough that they do not give up on you. Now, this can be heartbreaking. The person may not make it, okay? But we are forever people. When I tell somebody I will sponsor you, it's forever. That's what I consider it. Now, they may go on to have other sponsors and things like that. What it means is I will be there if they need me. That's what that means. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. And what does that do for me? Well, it creates accountability in my own life. Oh, drink sounds good. Well, I can't do that. I got people that are relying on me. I'm a forever person. Yeah, go have a drink. I already had it. All right. And then my brain just moves on. Okay. So every hug, every meeting, every honest conversation is a heartbeat bringing you back to life. And we will surround you too. Right? You will feel uncomfortable the first time you go, especially, if you go to grassroots, we don't mean to single you out, but we're going to do everything that we can. As soon as the parking lot meeting comes, we're hoping you stay. And during the meeting, we're going to ask you to stay. Hey, stick around for the parking lot meeting. Okay. Now we don't sit there and focus on them the whole time. Then we have conversations so they can see what life is like. They can see us laughing. And what is that? That's hope. And some of these jokes they're going to get because they're alcoholic too. They'll be like, man, I did that. I'm kind of embarrassed by it, but Dion's over there laughing about it. It's freedom, my friends. That's freedom. We get a freedom that hardly any other people in this world get. It comes with alcoholism. All right. So, what happens? Well, the promises start coming true, and peace starts replacing chaos. Laughter returns, and hope takes root. The soul that alcohol tried to steal, it's still there, waiting, beloved, back into wholeness. Waiting. Your inner child is just waiting for a hug. Right? I think that's pretty cool. So, as we close, let's remember that we didn't crawl out of hell all alone. We were loved out of it. And if nobody's told you that they love you today, I do. Now you need to go love someone else back to health. Now you need to go give it away. I'm going to give you my love. And yes, whenever I end these, I tell you how much I love you. And I'm talking to you. Whoever's listening, I am talking directly to you. I don't care that there's 500 people listening or anything like that. I'm talking directly to you. I believe that God brings people to my life and that there are reasons for all of this. So I absolutely believe it. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and keep on trudging.